Hare Krishna. Mama Gnatimirandasya Gnandana Salakaya Chakshulan Militam Jaina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Svaya Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Patandikam Vanchakopa Terubhischa Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today, of course, like every day, Prabhupada said every day is festival day, consciousness. But of course today, also special festival day, Lord Ramachandra Vijaya Dasami, Lord Ramachandra's victory. So I'm here, of course, some of you may know, my name is Srutikirti Das. So I was here with Srila Prabhupada very, very long time ago, 1972, 1973, 74, 75, here in Vrindavan and here in this most wonderful place, this ISKCON Juhu, RadhaRasbihari Mandir. I was thinking, I was just talking with Prabhu, said of course today, Victory Day. And I was saying, well, this place certainly, this Juhu temple, more than any other temple in Srila Prabhupada's society, Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON, was a big, big battle in order to get this temple that you all are able to sit very comfortably in. So much opulence. Back in those days, it was very much just the opposite. No question of opulence. It was nothing but austerity. Over time, some of you who've been here for some time, you may know some of the history, some of you much of the history. Books have been written about it. Srila Prabhupada told Guru Raj Swami it would make a very good book, the fight here in Juhu. I was thinking of all the interesting, almost dichotomies. Srila Prabhupada fought so hard to establish this temple so that everyone could sit here very nicely. And it all began with Srila Prabhupada installing these very lordships here, SriSriRadhaRasbihari. The original temple, their altar, this big, double my hand width. That was the altar here at this place when I first came. Prabhupada had nowhere to stay here. 1972, he stayed in one flat, Kartikeya Mahadevia's flat. Oh, and I believe it called Ocean Drive. Ocean Drive. I remember staying there. When I joined Srila Prabhupada just 3 months before then, I joined him Janmashtami in New Vrindavan, and I left with him. And he was coming to India. He was heading towards India, traveling west. He went from New Vrindavan, then he went to Dallas, Texas, then he went to Los Angeles, then he went to Hong Kong. And he told me, we're going to Vrindavan for Kartik. This was October 15th, it began that year, 1972. Okay? Okay. And he was very eager. This would be his very first time to spend the entire month of Kartik in Vrindavan since he left 7 years earlier, 1965. It would be the first time. He was very excited. But while he was there in Vrindavan, he was always thinking about Juhu as well. and they needed him to come. Prabhupada knew everything up to Krishna. He had to depend on Krishna. But he also knew he had to fight for this property. I'm sure everyone knows the history. I didn't know the history when I joined him. I didn't know the battle that was going on. But of course, in that little spot, somewhere on this land where the deities were, he said, I promise, I'll build you a very big, beautiful temple. And this big, beautiful temple. This is the desire. Just by the desire of pure devotee, everything manifests. He says that in the 10th canto, I believe, chapter 34, about the temple in Vrindavan. He said a devotee had a desire to see the temple there in Vrindavan, and just by the desire of the pure devotee. But none of these things came easy. They came with fighting. We need to learn how to fight as well. We're given so much facility now. We think, oh, no more fighting is there. Always a battle is going on against Maya. Battle is always there. You may see it or you may not see it. And if you see it, you have to join the battle. It said, the gopis, how do they become gopis? Always taking risks. Their whole life is always taking risks to be with Krishna, to see Krishna. You want to be with Krishna, you want to be in pastimes with Krishna, you have to take risks. Not just sit back very comfortably in our room looking at our cell phone. No, that's not going to bring you there. You want to fight. You have to fight. I learned this from Srila Prabhupada. So many things while he was fighting. It was very interesting. You hear all these childhood pastimes. Those of you who have looked at the Lilamrita, read Lilamrita, and the little nectar books. Some of you going back 30, 40 years to 1980 or so. There were the little nectar books. Many of those little nectar stories, Prabhupada told those stories right here in Juhu. While he was fighting to get this place, he was also giving nectar. You can't have one thing without the other. We all want to be happy. We all want to enjoy. We all want the nectar. But if you want it, you've got to learn how to fight. The example is there today. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman Ramachandra. That example is there. Srila Prabhupada, he exemplified that very spirit, Lord Ramachandra. Fighting. Fighting for what was right. This property that he had bought. And then this Mr. Nair, he had done that a few times. He'd get some money for the property, and somehow or other with his team of lawyers, he would get it back. But then he made one very big mistake. He sold it to Srila Prabhupada. You probably know too, when Prabhupada, before he came to America, he came to Juhu. Who was going to give him passage to America? Sumati Morarji. She was living here in Juhu. When Prabhupada came and he's seeing this place, just put his eyes on this place. He thought, oh, it'll be a very nice place for a temple. Just see the power of pure devotion to Krishna. How Krishna satisfies that desire. But it didn't come easy. You have to fight. You have to prove yourself to Krishna. How much you want to serve him. How much you want to please him. How much you're willing to do to satisfy him. But as Prabhupada was fighting, he was telling me all these amazing stories, sweet stories about his childhood. It started in the very beginning, first time we came here. After Vrindavan, October 15th and November 15th, 1972, Then he did programs, Pandal programs. Hyderabad, there for 7-10 days. Ahmedabad, there for 7-10 days. I got sick in those places. I'd never been sick before. I remember Ahmedabad, after being in India for 6 weeks or so, I had never been sick in my life. Cold here and there. 12 years of school, I missed 2 days in 12 years. I was never sick. Then I get to Ahmedabad. Poof! All of a sudden I had malaria. I didn't even know what it was. Sitting at this life member's house, some well-wishers of Prabhupada's, he's doing programs in the evening, and I'm lying in bed dying. Prabhupada arranged, they brought a doctor, funny little homeopathic doctor, had his little black bag, opened it up, couple 100 bottles, all look exactly the same, little white pills in them, sugar pills. Started giving me the sugar pills. Couple days I was better, just taking those little white sugar pills. I said to Prabhupada, I've never been so sick in my whole life. He looked at me. Really? He said. He was surprised. Really? He said. He said, disease is our natural condition. He said, to be healthy, he said, very rare. Yeah. It was a very simple statement. As years went by, decades go by, I was writing my book, I realized the disease. Prabhupada used that word, disease. What's our disease? Right here, this is the disease. We think we're this body. Whatever happened with Srila Prabhupada, this illness, that illness, never said anything. You know how I knew he didn't feel well? He'd call me in before his massage, before lunch, say, make me khichdi for lunch today. That's the only way I knew he wasn't feeling well. Make me khichdi, he would say, for lunch. We do the same thing now, 50 years later. Don't feel well, I eat khichdi. We've been in GEV for the last week. Every day eating khichdi. I had a cold. Every day, still eating. Even you're sick and dying, you want to eat. But I was eating khichdi every day, simple. Just Prabhupada's formula, he said. When you're sick, khichdi, he said, 1 part dal, 2 parts rice. Little turmeric and salt. Bas, little ghee. That was his formula. But here, after that, he came to Mumbai, Bombay. He did a Pandal program here. It was the second one in 1971. He did it, December, and then 1972. So I was with him for that Pandal program. Tens of thousands of people coming every evening to hear Srila Prabhupada. He was here not just doing Pandal programs, he was here fighting. This was the battleground, fighting with this Mr. Nair. I didn't know anything when I joined Prabhupada. I was very simple. 20 years old when I joined him, 20 years old. So now I'm 21 years old, and I'm starting to hear about this demon. Prabhupada called him Big Snake. This demon, Mr. Nair. So Prabhupada, he's doing his programs, preaching tens of thousands of people. And all during the day, he's fighting with this Mr. Nair. And who does he have as his weapons? A bunch of monkeys. Us, his disciples. We were his monkeys. Of course, we weren't qualified monkeys, like Hanuman's people, Hanuman's crew. We were all rascal nonsense. Dancing white elephants that Prabhupada brought here to impress all the Indians. Us dancing white elephants. They're becoming devotees. What's wrong with you people? That's how he showed us. Look at them, all on stage dancing. And they would come to watch us. These dancing white elephants, these Americans and Europeans becoming Vaishnavas. Everywhere we went, I remember walking on the beach with Srila Prabhupada here every morning in Juhu. They'd just look at us. Who are these funny people? These white people with tilak on, wearing dhotis and kurtas. Back then, all the gentlemen, they all wore kurta. Now they look at us just because we're wearing kurtas. Nobody wears kurtas. Now we're still an oddity. Who are these funny people? Whether you're Indian, wherever you come from, you're odd. What are you doing wearing that clothing? Huh? But back then we were odd because we were white people wearing dhoti, kurta, next to Srila Prabhupada. And he was very proud of his army, his bunch of monkeys. He was proud of us, fighting with him, fighting for him. But as all this is going on, he had his transcendental nature. Prabhupada speaks about that. I read it in the purport just the other day. You have to have that transcendental nature. Doesn't matter. So much fighting going on. Huh? It was at Kartikeya's place. I'm massaging him one day before lunch. It was out on a little area outside. Prabhupada would take the morning sun. Huh? Gives you energy. Prabhupada followed very Ayurvedic principles. He didn't talk about Ayurveda. He didn't have time. He was too busy talking about Krishna. But he followed very closely Ayurvedic principles. How he rose in the morning, how he bathed, how he ate, how he faced the sun. Whatever he did was based on Ayurveda. But he didn't speak about it. All he did was try to give us Krishna. But despite all this fighting going on, giving him massage, and he's completely relaxed. Was one of my things that would baffle me, how he could be so relaxed. Trivikram Prabhu, he knows, he gave Prabhupada massages. You also gave massage. You always say you. Why are you turning around? He said it was like massaging this big prize fighter, right? That was his, Prabhupada, he was a great fighter. But you're massaging him and he's sitting there like everything's wonderful. And then I'm massaging his leg. I'd only been with him a few months. So you start with the head, sandalwood oil. Why sandalwood oil on your head? It's cooling. Prabhupada said you have to keep a cool head, even in the midst of battle. Every fighter knows to defeat someone, you get him angry. Then he loses his intelligence, can't even fight properly. Prabhupada could battle, but still he maintained his composure. Yeah. I used to see him with Mr. Nair. They were just talking. I never realized there's such an enemy, because they would come to Prabhupada's room, he'd just talk to him. Even he's fighting to get this property, but they would talk. So that one day I'm massaging Prabhupada and he's telling me everything. He loved it here. He said he had two favorite places in the whole world. Two of his favorite places. What are they? Juhu. And the other place, of course, he would say favorite places many different ways. Everything was a favorite place for him. Vrindavan was his favorite place. Detroit was his. But he said he had two favorite places. This place and the other place. Hawaii. Hawaii. Why? Dab. Coconut. Dab. Prabhupada liked his dab. When he was staying in the flats here. Which way are the flats? I don't know where I am in this place. Where the flats were many, many years ago, 50 years ago. Prabhupada lived up on the second floor flat, one of the buildings. After lunch, he took a nap because he only slept 2-3 hours at night before he started his translating work. Even in the midst of battle, this battlefield, Didn't matter. Every night he's translating Srimad Bhagavatam, for us. Every night. Even fighting's going on during the day. Somehow or other, he was in that transcendental place, always. So after lunch, he told me, when I first became his servant, he said, I'm an old man. He said that to me. I've been in the temple for 16 months. He called me into his room. First day as his servant in Dallas. Called me in his room. I came right beside him, the sitting place, just a cushion on the floor. Vrindavan, cushion on the floor. Dallas, cushion on the floor. Los Angeles, cushion on the floor. Everywhere, just like Vrindavan, cushion on the floor. Little table in front of him where he could do his translating work. Not what you see upstairs here, big, beautiful rooms for Srila Prabhupada. That's not how he lived. Don't think he was living in opulence for 10 years while he was here. It was very much the opposite. Lived very simply. Sadhu, sannyasi, devotee. So my first day, rang the bell after lunch. I went into his room. He looked at me. He said, Srutikirti, your name is too long. Yes, Prabhu. He said, I'll call you Sruto from now on. He never called me Sruto again. Oh, he called me Srutikirti. But that day he said that very endearing thing to me. Then he looked at me. He said, do you take a nap after lunch? Oh, I got frightened. Thought he was accusing me of sleeping too much. We never slept. You see, he just read in everyone. He said, my disciples from 5 in the morning till 10 at night, they're engaged in Krishna conscious activities. And it wasn't 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It had to be at Mangala. Never took a nap. He said, do you take a nap? I said, no, Prabhupada. Only time we took naps were at Srimad Bhagavatam class. So then you would take naps. And then he looked at me, so humble. He said, I'm an old man. He said, when you're old, he said, you can't sleep too much at any one time. He said, so I take a nap after lunch. And I'm looking at him thinking, why is he telling me this? I just saw pure devotee. He could sleep 24 hours a day. He was Krishna conscious. I'm awake 24 hours a day. I'm in Maya. That I could understand. Always Krishna conscious. But he said that to me. Only thing I could think was everything he says is to make you become more and more attached to him. More and more you had to develop your love for him. That's the duty of the spiritual master. Make you become attached to him. That's how we become attached to Krishna. That's how we develop our love of Krishna, through the spiritual master. So massaging him there in Kartikeya Mahadevi's house on the patio, and I'm start massaging his leg. He would hear the hawkers, I don't know what people chanting. One's asking for paper, one's sharpening knives, one tinning your brass cookers. And he would tell me, this one's saying this one. He was introducing me to the culture, Vedic culture, Indian culture. He was introducing me to it as I'm massaging him. It was so sweet. Couldn't understand. He was a general in the army fighting for this property here that we all sit in very comfortably, enjoying nice prasadam, nice rooms, gorgeous deity worship. Some of the best in the world. And he looked at me, I'm massaging his leg. He said, you see that scar? He had a scar on his leg. Of course, I said, yes, Prabhupada. He said, I got that scar when I was a young boy. He said, I was in front of the house playing with matches. He said, and somehow I lit a match and said, all my cloth went up in flames. And then he said, one man appeared. It was just how he said it to me. He appeared out of nowhere, went through the gate, put out the flames, and left. Didn't even take him to the doors, to his mother, nothing. He said he put out the flames and left. That's how he said it. Sounded very, very mystical. He said that scar is from that time. His battles, his battleground. Prabhupada was telling me all his battles, not just the current battles, there in 1972. He was telling me about the battles that were going on when he was 4 years old. He was telling me about those battles that happened. And then there upstairs, giving him massage. 1974, 2 years later, coming to the same place, still battling to secure this property. Never came easy. Didn't come easy. It came with great fights. But I'm upstairs with him in his bedroom. Evening massage. It was morning massage, hour and a half at least, with oils. Evening massage, no oils. But it was, had a massage, the warrior, Srila Prabhupada, fighting. Keep him fit, so he could keep fighting, keep the blood circulating, everything going, all the airs. Twice a day, this massage. Yes. Lord Ramachandra also interested in hearing this. So in the evening, favorite time of the whole day for me, for his servant. And Juhu, specially nice place to give Prabhupada massage. Why? One of the best places in the whole world to give him massage. Because you have so many mosquitoes here. That made it very good. Because Prabhupada had to have a mosquito net over his bed, poster bed. He had to hang the mosquito net. So for me, it was very good. Because now I'm not sitting on the floor massaging him. I have to get inside, sit on the bed with Srila Prabhupada. Not down on the floor, but sitting in the bed with him. And for us Westerners, it's like camping. You know, you go out camping in the woods in a tent. So I always felt like I was in a tent with Srila Prabhupada. And I was one of his very insignificant warriors, Sometimes it said the little bird emptying the ocean. I was like that, little insignificant. But I was also fighting the mosquitoes. I was fighting them. Even you put the net down, there's still a half a dozen mosquitoes. There's so many mosquitoes here. And they're big. Like big 747s, these mosquitoes here. Big. The rats here, like this big, rats running around all over in Juhu back then. Everything you were fighting. But me, I could fight the mosquitoes there with Srila Prabhupada. Massaging his back. He'd be sitting there. And I see mosquito for the first time. I'm thinking, what do? I see it. And I got him. Prabhupada said, that's okay. He said, he's attacking. And then he said, Manu Samhita says, you have attacker, you can defend yourself. So he gave me permission. So then I couldn't wait. Then I saw next mosquito on his back, massaging Prabhupada by slapping him on his back. That was my battle, teeny weeny battles. Prabhupada was fighting battles all over the world, fighting with everyone, giving everyone Krishna. He had to fight them to do it. Everywhere fights. Sankirtan devotees getting arrested, getting thrown in jail. We were all fighting all the time. Not easy. Wasn't easy back then. But Prabhupada, he was the supreme battler. So there I'm under that mosquito net with Srila Prabhupada, who's doing all the fighting to secure this property. So all of you can come here by the millions over the years. Millions and millions people come, bow down before RadhaRasbihari, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita, Hanuman, yes. We represent the Hanumans. And we're all the monkeys. Prabhupada, the little monkeys. But he's sitting in the bed and he starts talking about his childhood. All this fighting going on. But he's completely transcendental. He didn't get overwhelmed by the battles. For him it was energizing, fighting for Krishna. Not that at the end of the day we're, No, he wasn't like that at the end of the day. He's telling pastimes about his childhood. But what did he tell me? He told me about another battle when he was a young boy. His fighting spirit was still there. He started telling me when he was a little boy. His mother, his father. It was here in Juhu. Every night Prabhupada took prasadam when I was with him. Every night he always had hot milk. Boiling hot milk. I put a little sugar in. That was all I put in, little sugar. No turmeric, no this, no that. Just sugar. But then he would call me in and tell you what he wanted. Evening time, he would say what he wanted. Lunchtime, rice, chapatis, dal, sabji, same every day. 2.5 years, every day I gave him the same lunch. He never said, do like this, do like that. Never said it wasn't good. Never said it was good. Sometimes he said it was good. But he never criticized, never said too much salt, not enough salt. But every day he ate rice, chapatis, dal, perella, bitter melon fried, different sabjis. But evening time, he'd call me in his room, 8 o'clock or so, like here. He said, tonight you can make me puris, potato, eggplant, sabji. Imagine, 9 o'clock at night, that's what he's eating. Yes, Prabhupada. So then the next night, 8 o'clock at night, he calls me in the room. He said, tonight you make muri, puffed rice. He said, last night, he said, I hate all that prasadam. He said it made it difficult to get up and do my translating work. He's not getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He's getting up at midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. But he said it made it difficult to do my translating work. So he shifted. He said, tonight you just make me the puffed rice and peanuts, chants and ghee, always ghee. He never used oil. Everything in ghee. Puris in ghee, chapatis with ghee, chaunces with ghee. Everything cooked in ghee. I said, yes, Prabhupada. So I made it that night. And then giving him massage afterwards. And I'm massaging. Prabhupada's talking to me, but always doing my service. This is how you got your ecstasy, through your service. So I'm sitting in the bed with him, massaging his legs, his lotus feet. And he said, my mother made first-class puffed rice. He told me even how she made it. She puffed the rice herself, big metal wok filled with sand. He told me the whole process. He said she was a first-class cook. And he said, my sister, she was also first-class cook. He said, my mother taught her. Oh, well, I'm massaging him. I'm not just sitting in front of him, he's telling me stories. No, I'm doing my service. And then he said, I'm also a first-class cook. He said, but I learned just by watching. He gave himself a little pat on the back, we say. Just by watching, he said. He said that about other things. He could learn. He would watch something, he knew how to do it. First time Gargamuni bought the first dictaphone machine. This is 1965, 1966. Dictaphone machine, tape in it. So he's thinking he has to show Prabhupada how to use it. Prabhupada picked it up, he started using it. Didn't have to show him anything. Yeah. He knew everything, Prabhupada, knows everything. So then he goes, one night, he said, I told my mother, I want puris. Prabhupada never ate a chapati until he was a grahasta. He said just the idea of chapatis he didn't like. He had to have puris. He said, only my servant convinced me many years later. He was in his 20s before he ate a chapati. He was very spoiled by his mother or father. So he said that night, I asked my mother, I want puris. And she said, it's too late. Even then she said, too late. She said, I'll make you muri. He said, I want puris. Prabhupada, you couldn't tell him what to do. Even as soon as he could speak, he would argue. He had to have whatever he wanted. So second time he said, I want puris. And his mother said, no, it's very late. I'll make you nice muri. I want puris. He's telling me this. And he's talking like this, just like he was. And when he tells his mother, he talks like his mother. Same inflection. Third time he said, I want puris. He said, then my father said, if he wants puris, give him puris. Yeah. He said, perhaps my father knew. Then he stopped. Perhaps my father knew that this boy, he's no ordinary person. This boy is going to deliver the entire planet. Perhaps my father knew, he said. He wants puris, give him puris. He said, I was my father, very favorite of my father. His father didn't discipline him. Mother disciplined him. Yeah, some of you know that. Mother does all the discipline. Father, he said, Father, whatever I wanted, my father would give me. But then he told another story. His father, he would go out shopping in the evening with his father after it cooled down there in Calcutta. And what happened? As they're walking through all the little shops, Prabhupada saw the toy store. And he saw the guns. So he said to his father, I want a gun. Immediately his father bought him a gun. Then you know what happened, right? Prabhupada looked, had a gun in his hand. This is not a plastic gun. There was no plastic then, metal gun. He has a gun in his hand. Then he looked at his other hand, there's no gun in it. He said, I need another gun. His father said, no. Even his father said no. He said, you have a gun, that's enough. You don't say no to Prabhupada. We all know that. Trivikram knows. You don't say no. Never. You don't say anything. Whatever he says, you just shake your head. Yes, Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhupada. He calls you a malecha? Yes, Prabhupada. That's me. First class malecha. Then he looked at his father. I want another gun. Father said no. Second time. Then we have the magic number 3. I have so many stories about 3 times with Prabhupada. 3, it never goes beyond 3. The 3 is when everything comes down. Prabhupada said, I want another gun for this hand. His father said no. He said, I laid down on the ground, had a tantrum. Prabhupada said, I laid down on the ground banging my hands on the ground, banging my head on the ground. He said, "You see this scar?" "Yes, Prabhupada." "It's from then." Had a scar on his forehead, beating his head on the ground. Had to have 2 guns. He used those 2 guns. 60 years later, he used those 2 guns. 70 years later. Mahamantra. One hand, Mahamantra. Other hand, Guru's instruction. Prabhupada was prepared from the very beginning to fight the whole world. Always fighting. Fighting for Krishna. That's our business. Not sitting back getting fat in the temple. Eating very, very nicely. That you can do. But then you got to go out and fight. Every day. That's why we're here. That's why Trivikram is here. That's why I'm here. All these little fighters going out every day chanting Hare Krishna in the streets. That's what we saw back then. It seemed like there was 1 million Hare Krishnas in the USA. There was a few hundred. Seemed like there were millions of them. Every city and every major spot in the city, devotees chanting Hare Krishna, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. 2 guns all the time. 2 guns he gave us. This is a battlefield. It's always a battlefield. And the battle gets bigger and bigger and bigger in Kali Yuga. Our business is to fight for Srila Prabhupada, to fight with Srila Prabhupada, just as he did. And then you can come back very happily in the evening, see the deities, chant Hare Krishna, take nice prasadam and take rest, very peacefully. Not that we're constantly in anxiety because we're fighting. No, we're happy to be able to fight for Krishna, to be able to fight for Srila Prabhupada. He fought so hard. I came here this morning. I've been here many times over the years, usually just for a few days. But today, this special day, Lord Ramachandra's battle, victory day, I came and I saw everything in such a different way. I thought how hard Srila Prabhupada fought for all of us so that we could be here, happily practice Krishna consciousness, become devotees. The end of this life, go back home, back to Godhead. By fighting, by taking risks for Krishna. Prabhupada would say, there's a difference in Krishna consciousness. Be devotee, taking care of yourself, and fighting for Krishna. It's a different thing. Not the same. Not the same. But I saw Prabhupada balancing these things, fighting, and then completely peaceful in Krishna's hands every day. I remember in 1974, fighting was going on, and he's losing his soldiers, his disciples. Us Westerners, we didn't know how to deal with all these crafty Indian legal people, lawyers, Indian law. We didn't know how to deal with it. They'd go out every day, and just being healthy was such a chore. We would come here like myself. I had malaria in India. I was afraid. India was a big battleground for me. Whenever Prabhupada was heading to India, I would just hold my breath. Oh no, India. Malaria 3 times, jaundice, colitis, dysentery every month, just like Ekadasi, you get dysentery all the time. This was our life back then. But we did it. But one soldier after another is falling down here, trying to battle for Srila Prabhupada with Mr. Nair and his team of lawyers for this wonderful, wonderful facility here, this Juhu. One boy came, man, his disciple. He was a GBC. This time he was a Grahasta. Later on took sannyas, later on became initiating guru, all those things. But now he's a Grahasta. He was the next person to come to help Srila Prabhupada here in Juhu. Ooh, and he came right from America. Nice silk dhoti, white silk dhoti, white silk kurta, all pressed, very nice, bright, bright white. Came into the Prabhupada's room upstairs. Does a dandavat. I'm here now, Srila Prabhupada. Everything will be all right. I'll take care of it. I'm sitting on the side. We'll see. I was realistic, as some people would say, pessimistic. No, I had experience. No one could survive this battlefield. None of us. But he said that. And then every afternoon he would come in around 5, 6 o'clock and make a report to Prabhupada. And every day I saw his body. Every day I saw the color of his cloth getting darker and darker, grayish, no more pressed silk cloth. He couldn't do anything either. Only Prabhupada could do it. It took Prabhupada himself to secure everything here for all of us. This most wonderful place. So happy to be here. That's why he called it his place of business. Huh? Vrindavan is his home. I live there 5 years now. My wife and I, we live in Vrindavan. That's also a battlefield every day. Different kind of battle. Krishna's always making us fight. It's right in front of you. Their battles are right in front of you. You can take it, or you can think, no, I don't want to fight. In Vrindavan, we have fights. Mayapur, place of worship. This place, his office, where he conducted all his battles here. But he secured this place as he told them. That's a whole other story. You all know it. I can tell it sometime. We have some time left. Any questions or comments? We can talk a little more. Fighting. Hare Krishnas. We're all warriors fighting with Lord Ramachandra, fighting with Lord Ramachandra. This is our business. Fighting. Fighting Maya. 24 hours a day. We were in Hawaii with Prabhupada. This is 1975. I've been with them now 2.5 years. During those 2.5 years, 4 or 5 different secretaries, Sanskrit editors, few different Sanskrit editors. I was his servant, then I wasn't his servant, then again I'm his servant. All fighting. And Prabhupada's on a morning walk in Hawaii. Most beautiful place. Prabhupada said, if there's heaven on earth, it's in Hawaii. Heaven on earth. That's where I'm living now, right? Next door here. Heaven on earth. Interesting. Juhu, Hawaii. Heaven on earth, Prabhupada called Hawaii. There you have your little Hawaii place. Heaven on earth there. Very nice room. Prabhu provides for us there. So he's on a morning walk and he's telling us, becoming Krishna conscious is not an easy thing. Not everyone think you're going to become Krishna conscious in this very lifetime. He made us think we could. He always made us think in this very lifetime we could become Krishna conscious. Then as the years go by, the decades go by, you think, will I ever become Krishna conscious? But he made us believe it when we were young. We were so enthusiastic, fighting all the time for him, every day going out into the battlefields, Maya's battlegrounds, chanting, distributing books every day. It's all we knew. He said one person stays back at the temple to take care of the deities. Everyone else, you're out fighting with your guns. Your 2 guns, he gave us those guns. So he's talking like that on the morning walk and saying, but if you don't finish your business, next life you can come back. He said, take birth, he said, in India. Nice aristocratic family, devotional family. And we're surrounding Prabhupada thinking, we have to come back, go to India? Horrible. Coming to India. It's like a curse to have to come to India, be sick. But that's what he said. And my godbrothers are poking me. Ask Prabhupada, do we have to come back to India? Whole morning walk, we were all disturbed thinking, oh no, we're going to come back in India, take birth. We don't want to do that. Malaria, jaundice, dysentery, colitis, Indians, I know Krishna, I know Krishna. You couldn't even preach to anyone here. And he wouldn't let us go out on Harinam here because only beggars went out on Harinam in India, looking for bakshish, money. So we couldn't do, only could make life members. Yes, I know Krishna. But you'd give him that card. You can stay in any temple around the world. Ooh, okay. Indians like to travel. The ones with money, they'll think, ooh, free motel room all around the world. Free food, free room to stay in there. Everyone's becoming life members. So easy. So then the morning walk's over. Prabhupada, he's sitting next to the driver in the front seat in this heavenly planet, Hawaii. We all like being in Hawaii. His servant, his secretary. We all loved Hawaii. Dabs, coconuts, papayas, mangoes, everything, avocados, beautiful beaches. So now we're all three of us in the back seat. 1975, I'm 24 years old. And I'm the oldest one in Prabhupada's entourage. Somehow or other, I became the oldest one. I went from the youngest one to the oldest one 3 years later. And secretaries on one side of me, Sanskrit editors on the other side of me. And they're poking me. Ask Prabhupada, do we have to go to India next life? Do we have to take birth in India? I'm there, you ask them. But they're thinking I'm the senior devotee. You ask Prabhupada, you've been with them longest. And I'm there, no, you ask them. We're arguing in the back seat right behind Prabhupada. He may have heard or may not heard, but he knows everything we're doing. He knows us little monkeys. We're all like monkeys jumping around. So finally, I said, Prabhupada, yes? I said, so in the morning walk, you're saying if we don't complete our business this lifetime, come back in India, nice aristocratic family. Prabhupada said, yes. I said, do we have to take birth in India? He said, no, not now. He said, we have temples all over the world. You can take birth in any temple around the world. Thank you, Krishna. That's how we felt back then. Now everyone's so eager to come to India, Come to India, everything nice. We drink our Bisleri copper water, this, that, everything very, very pleasant. All because of Srila Prabhupada's fighting for us. He fought for us. But what are we going to do in return? You have to fight for everyone else, not just sit behind the desk. And if that's your service, fight sitting behind the desk, giving Krishna to others. It's always our business. But I saw those things going on with Prabhupada. He's fighting about this Mr. Nair, this property. And then at nighttime he's talking about his childhood. But he's also talking about as a child how he was fighting to get his guns, fighting fire. He was remembering all those things. And when he told you those stories, he brought you back right there. Just like when he tells you stories about Krishna, he can bring you right there. And when we talk about Srila Prabhupada, we can bring you right there with Srila Prabhupada. That's his potency of the pure devotee. So we're all the most fortunate people in the world. And you're in the most fortunate place in the whole world here in ISKCON Juhu. You've been blessed to be here. So you take advantage of this place. Wonderful temple president there, Almost 20 years, temple president, huh? Fighting. Fighting, keeping this place very nice for Srila Prabhupada. It is a great blessing he's given all of us. We're blessed to have Prabhu here taking care of everything for such a long time. Prabhupada, he has very nice home there in Goloka Vrindavan. Prabhupada will give him a home. You all want a home in Goloka Vrindavan? Fight like you see your temple president here fighting for Krishna all the time. And completely transcendental. Even though he's fighting all day long. So many things going on every day. So we have a few minutes left. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this Prabhupada Katha. Prabhuji, one question that Prabhupada was very much eager and he was fighting and he had so many plans. But then his entourage devotees were very new. So surely there was a gap between Prabhupada's expectation and then devotees. So how he dealt with that?
Can you repeat that? He said, we were very new and Prabhupada expectations. How did he deal with that? Pure devotee understands Krishna's doing everything. Our business is to fight, but the outcome is up to Krishna. But just like this place, this Juhu is such a wonderful example. He never stopped fighting until everything was secured. He said, I promised RadhaRasbihari, you stay here under horrible conditions. Rats are also going in and out of their altar all night long. Huh? They're also having to deal with it. He said, but you stay here, I'll build you a very beautiful temple. He said, the difference, he said, even my disciples, they were ready to give the place up. We'll give you money from America. Just buy the place next door. Buy this place. Why this place? He said, even my disciples. But no, that wasn't, Prabhupada didn't accept that because my disciples. He said, I promised them. There was the day, the bell's ringing. So after leaving here, Prabhupada went to New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand. It was a rented house, it was the temple. Not a lot of devotees, half a dozen devotees were there, and even they got moved out to some other place. So Prabhupada had the whole house with myself and his secretary, and these two sannyasis were there. The one sannyasi was the first temple president here in Juhu. Now he's in New Zealand, and Prabhupada's in New Zealand. And I'm massaging Prabhupada just before lunch in the room. And this sannyasi, who was the temple president here a year before, he comes to the door of Prabhupada's room where he's getting massage, and Prabhupada's, there's a phone call from India, from Juhu. I'm massaging Prabhupada's back. Prabhupada said, you take it. He told me to take the phone call. Only phone call I was there with Prabhupada 2.5 years. We never used the telephone. So Prabhupada could understand. And to make a phone call from India outside of the country you had to book it. A trunk call. You had to book a phone call. It wasn't an easy thing. And it was a very expensive thing to do. Anyway, he said, you take it. So I get on the phone. Just talk for barely a minute. And I come back, I walk back to the doorway, and Prabhupada's looking. He's looking at the door, waiting. And I came to the door. I said, Prabhupada, Mr. Nair died. Thank you, Krishna, Prabhupada said. Sitting on the floor, covered in oil, like a jewel, covered all in oil. Thank you, Krishna. I'm standing at the doorway thinking, wow, Prabhupada's happy somebody died. I didn't know devotees would be happy hearing about somebody's death. I was very new. So then I go behind Prabhupada, all these things in my head. Prabhupada said, oh, he gave us so much trouble, Mr. Nair, so much trouble. He said he was a big demon. Called him a snake. And quoted Prahlad Maharaj. All the silly things I was thinking, he just washed them all away in a moment. Quoted Prahlad. Even a saintly person becomes happy when a snake or a scorpion is killed. He said he was a big snake. And then he said, I saw him before we left. He said he came to see me and he was limping. And when I saw him limping, I thought, Krishna's going to kill him. He said, and actually Krishna has killed him. So now I'm into this story. I said, well, Krishna killed him. I said, did he get liberated? He said, no. He said he didn't come personally to kill him. He said, that's only when Krishna comes personally to kill you. So Prabhupada didn't want to give him even that satisfaction, liberated. He said, no, Krishna didn't kill him personally. He said he wasn't that big of a demon. Then he explained all the fighting and how his disciples were ready to abandon it. How did he deal with it? He just kept fighting on his own. That's what you do. Everyone else can bail out. You just keep fighting to your death. What a glorious death it would be fighting. Everyone else leaves you behind. Retreats. No retreat. Prabhupada said, no retirement. We may be tired. We don't get retired. You just continue to be tired and you continue fighting. That's the example Prabhupada gave. And then it was just a couple months later, that same devotee who came to the door with the message, and I took the phone. He wrote Prabhupada a letter. He wanted to retire. He was temple president of the farm in New Zealand. Prabhupada wrote him back and said, if you leave, how will it go on? I need you there. If you leave, it will all collapse. He said, but what can I do? He said, everything is voluntary. We're not paid personnel, voluntary. That was Prabhupada. If you want to leave, he said, what can I do? You go, peacefully you chant Hare Krishna. But then he wrote other things in the letter. This sannyasi, he only saw one of Prabhupada's disciples, his good friend and leader, this devotee. He's a pure devotee. And he told Prabhupada, I want to follow him because he's a pure devotee. And Prabhupada wrote back in the letter, said, I think you have the wrong understanding. Prabhupada said, yes, he's a very good boy. He's a pure devotee. He said, but all my disciples are pure devotees. Yeah. He said he may be SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple or SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple. He said, Shyama Sundar, he's pure devotee. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple is pure devotee. He said, all my disciples are pure devotees. He said, and at the time of death, we're all going to go back home, back to Vrindavan. He said, back home, back to the spiritual world, back to Goloka Vrindavan. He said, and there'll be an ISKCON there. And all my followers will be there except Mr. Nair. So that's our future. But you have to fight. Don't ever give up the fight. You can sometimes take a little rest. Prabhupada sometimes traveled. Well, little rest. He didn't like resting. Always fighting. 24 hours a day. So that's our business. 24 hours a day. So how did he deal? He always set the example. Never give up. Just keep fighting for Krishna. The end will be very, very glorious. Already predicted by Lord Chaitanya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, by Srila Prabhupada, every town and village. He said, we can take part, or we can let others do it. But better we take part. He said, take the credit. It's available to us to take that credit. Okay, one more question. Anyone have?
Just one more. Just wanted to.
I don't know. If it's a short one?
Yeah, short one.
Go on.
Did you ever offered Prabhupada any Western items in?
Yes, I did. In Los Angeles, New Dwarka. I had Prabhupada stayed there. He asked if did I ever offer Prabhupada any Western food items in particular. Me being a Westerner and Italian descent, I had a very particular set of things I liked very much. So I had one god sister that resided there. She was also Italian, raised Italian girl. So I told her for lunch sometimes, one day she made pizza, one day she made eggplant parmesan. And Prabhupada would take a little bite of it, but he preferred his rice chapatis and dal. But then I got the maha pizza, the maha eggplant parmesan, pancakes for breakfast. Prabhupada, he didn't care for any of those things. He liked his Vedic style, his Indian style. But I would have her cook. She was a very excellent cook, so she would cook those things. I only did it a few times. In the morning, fruits was what he took generally, fruits, a little yogurt like that. Yes, we'll end with you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you for the very nice, nectar of Prabhupada's pastimes. So, Prabhuji, So in those days, when you joined the movement, so Prabhupada in one of the his messages, he had mentioned that we as Indians are very fortunate to be born in India. At the same time, we are very unfortunate because we are attracted towards Western culture. So my question is that in India, it's easy for us to get attracted to Krishna movement because we have some background, right? But in Western country, most of the residents don't know Krishna, or nobody knows about Krishna or Sri Ram or any of those pastimes. So in the current modern days, how do devotees attract the residents in Western countries to invite them and join the ISKCON movement?
Yes. That was our advantage, that we didn't know anything. You all knew hodgepodge. You didn't know Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's just one of the many, many demigods. I tell you, with Prabhupada, I always use this example, going to one person's house. They invited Prabhupada. And of course, big, beautiful house, little temple room. They have a little for the gods. And then you go into the temple room, and there you have Krishna, you have Shiva, you have Saraswati, you have Kali. The one house we went into, they had Jesus. That's hodgepodge. You think you know Krishna, but he gave us Krishna. To try to give you Krishna was more difficult. You know the example of the violin teacher? Violin teacher, you come for lessons. So he said, have you ever played violin? They said, no. The lesson's 100 rupees an hour. So the next person comes, have you ever played violin? He says, oh, yes. Oh, 500 rupees an hour. Because he has to unteach you all the nonsense you've learned in your life. That's why we came like that. How many devotees did Prabhupada make in India before he left for America? None. In 73, here in Juhu, devotee said, Prabhupada, I'm studying Hindi. Prabhupada said, why? He said, so I can preach to the Indians. He said, I've been preaching to them my whole life. I haven't made one devotee. What are you going to do? Now, you people, you're in so much Maya. You're in enough Maya to actually come to Krishna consciousness. That's your good fortune. You've fallen so far away that now Krishna has become attractive to you. Otherwise, it wasn't easy. They were just looking for the blessings. I get my card, 1,111 rupees, and I can stay in any temple around the world as I travel around. What a good deal. And I get Prabhupada's books. I won't read them. I'll sit them on the shelf. I'm not going to read the books, but I'll get the books. But the real deal was getting a room in Hawaii, a room in Los Angeles, a room in New York City. That's how we sold Krishna to you back 50 years ago. But now they're all coming. Why all these young people coming now? Because there's so much Maya here, because you've taken up our Western nonsense very nicely, all jiggling on the TV, nonsense movies, all you're completely ensnared by Maya. So you're very unhappy now. Yeah. That unhappiness wasn't there so much in following Vedic culture. Now you're immersed in it. And you're thinking, why am I not happy? So much nonsense. So that's what happened. You're fortunate you've become like Westerners, steeped in Maya. Now Krishna can save you. Prabhupada can save you very nicely. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you.